All right. Sorry. Sorry. Welcome. I forgot to unmute the microphone. So thanks for joining. Today we're going to be diving into the stories, and then we're going to close out with the J6 hunt for the insurrection because of the available body cam videos that were released recently. Now we're going to be starting out with a few stories, and you guys let me know what you think in the chat. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday night, at 9 p.m., Trump is going to go on national television to tell the American people, he's going to tell the American people a few things about the 2020 election. And he's bringing in Kash Patel, the CIA director, and the acting DNI with him. Now, those aren't people who you bring to just talk about regular paperwork. Now, what is he about to show us? Okay, so you guys let me know in the chat what you think he's about to show us. Is this all fluff, or is there something concrete that President Trump is about to show us? So this is where we're going to start this morning, and here's the first video that we're going to be watching in connection with this story. Okay, President Trump confirms he's on the verge of a massive announcement surrounding election fraud ahead of his 9 p.m. White House address this coming Thursday. All right, so let's listen.
Machines and integrity. Can you give us sort of a sneak peek about what to expect and tell the
Well,
audience?
I'd rather save it. It will concern that subject, and we'll have a couple of other things to
Why
say
should people
also.
watch them?
But I'd rather save it. But it's really big news. It's really, really big news, and our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday. Is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement. Yeah.
Machines.
All right, so that's what he had to say. Now, a lot of people are essentially speculating that there are big reports coming in that point to the fact that there is news coming in from Georgia, Fulton County, and a few other things that are connected to the story. So let's watch this video from Benny Johnson because he has a few things to say.
But to say that there's no election fraud is, of course, insane and robs your sense, robs even the most rational people that have tried to argue against this have been left in ashes. The Democrats have flipped their narrative. Okay, so so here are the people, like the biggest corporate media entities in America used to run headlines that said there's no provable election fraud.
Yep.
Now, all of those headlines, all of them, have shifted to there's no mass election fraud. Every single one. NBC just did this. We've caught CBS doing this. ABC did this. The View, ladies, we're talking about like no one's proven mass election fraud, just a little bit of election fraud, a teeny bit, just the tip election fraud. Yeah, here's just the tip. Let me show you. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the tipping point for me, certainly. Where were you on election night 2020? You certainly saw Donald Trump up 10 points in Georgia.
I did.
A very healthy lead in Michigan and Nevada and Arizona. And of course, you wake up the next morning and find that it's all been disappeared.
Yep.
Because a pipe burst and because unlimited ballots were yanked out from underneath tables inside of the voting centers. And what you ended up with is a perfect, almost algorithmic
impossibility.
49.2 to 49.5 for Joe Biden. There you go. It's just like you punch it into a computer. It's always 49%, right? Always 49%. And Joe Biden miraculously won Georgia. But it's not just Joe Biden getting 49. Look at this. 49% for Kelly Loeffler. Raphael Warnock, 51%. 49% for David Perdue. John Ossoff, 50%. They're computer equations. They punched the numbers into a computer and they were able to manufacture results. This is exactly what Tulsi. You're insane, Benny. Oh, okay. Do you know more than the director of national intelligence?
Well, you don't need to look at these numbers to tell that there was fraud on that night. I did show you a video a few weeks back of that spike. It's kind of like what happened with California, with Los Angeles, with the mayoral race. Okay, you have this massive ballot dump, and how come it always goes one way? So President Trump is essentially going to be giving a press briefing on Thursday night, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on with the elections. Now, the Democrats right now are trying to head this off at the pass to claim that Trump is trying to rig the midterms by essentially signing the Save America Act. So securing the elections is equal to rigging the elections as far as the Democrats are concerned. Are they telling us something without telling us something? Are they telling us something that that we should know? That they can't win unless there's massive allowance for them to cheat with these massive ballot dumps, or by having illegals vote during elections. We already have reports that illegals have been voting and that they've been caught. A few of them have been arrested already and prosecuted. Yet the Democrats claim that there's no truth to the allegations that illegal aliens are voting in American elections. So let's see. All right, let's see how that goes on Thursday. Right. Okay, in the chat, Gardening says, we have all seen the proof. I want this to be actual proof that the normies can see, the real proof. And that's for me, if I'm in the shoes of a normie, okay, look, there's already enough proof out there for anyone who styles themselves as a normie to see and to understand that the election was stolen. But they see this proof. I don't know whether it's just the narrative surrounding the 2020 election or the fear that was sown during that season that essentially told you that if you questioned the elections, that you were an election denier or you were partaking in a conspiracy theory. I don't know if that's what was, like what's going on in the heads of a lot of normies. But just looking at a few of the reports, the videos of the ballot stuffing, the videos of reports about how the numbers essentially skyrocketed, it was a statistical anomaly. That doesn't happen. Yet it happened for Joe Biden. And then we look at California, Los Angeles, and we see it happening for both the mayoral and the gubernatorial races. Massive ballot dumps in the middle of the night, and then suddenly people who were losing start ticking upwards, and it only goes one way. So if a normie can't see it, I don't know. Maybe the only thing they can recognize, or they would recognize, is people getting arrested. Oh, but wait, left-wing media will say it is the weaponization of the justice system, that these people are being arrested because Trump is riding on his conspiracy theory that the 2020 election were not stolen. Even in the Senate, whenever the senators on the left try to have a gotcha moment for one of the members of Trump's cabinet, they always come up with this, are you willing to state on the record that the 2020 elections were free and fair? Why do they keep bringing that up if the elections were really free and fair? So that's just one of those things. So I'm curious to see what happens on Thursday. Let's skip over to the next story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for 4 nights in a row, the United States has conducted strikes on Iran, and they've been stepping up. Now, Jordan has been reported to have shot down 3 Iranian ballistic missiles, and the price of oil has been going up. And predictably, the Democrats are blaming Trump instead of the Iranians, who are the ones who are bottlenecking the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, they are the ones laying mines, threatening ships, firing on commercial ships, but the Democrats say that it's Trump's fault. Now, Trump says that next week is going to get more intense. And the question I'm going to ask you in the chat is, now, what do you think about the proceedings right now? Are we winning? Are we winning? Just let me know in the chat, yes or no. Do you think we're winning? Because we're circling this scenario where there's a ceasefire, and then people say, okay, the price of oil is going down. Then the Iranians lose their minds and start firing on commercial ships. And then America has to step in to protect the world yet again. And yet it's Trump's fault somehow. Let's listen to Trump as he talks about this.
Locations inside of Iran.
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But we're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night. We're going to hit them very hard the night after. And then next week it gets really bad for them, because next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making it?
So that's Trump's comment. Now, CENTCOM released these videos, and this is a report from Fox News. Let's have a listen. Trump unleashes fourth night of crushing U.S. strikes on Iran, and next week will be worse. U.S. forces are hammering Iranian naval capabilities and coastal defenses. Blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Excuse me. I just want to I wanted to expand the story. Okay, in the Strait of Hormuz, open for business except Iranian ports. Okay, so let's listen to this report together.
A fourth night of crushing strikes against Iran.
And President Trump says next week will be even worse if Tehran doesn't come to the table soon.
Mike Tobin joins us live. He's in Tel Aviv, and he's got the latest. Mike?
Good morning, Joey. Good morning, gang. The U.S. blockade is now in place. And President Trump says what that means is that the strait is open with the exception of any ship that visits an Iranian port. What we've seen from both Iran and the U.S. now is an increase in strikes. U.S. Central Command says they've wrapped up another round of strikes inside of Iran. The targets have been Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, and coastal defense sites. And this follows 7 commercial ships that have been struck crossing the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper gave a number we haven't heard yet. Nearly a dozen civilian crew members killed, missing, or injured by the Iranian strikes. And he added, U.S. forces are holding Iran accountable for unwarranted aggression that continues to endanger innocent lives. 137 days into this conflict, with the Trump reportedly holding meetings in the Situation Room about expanding the U.S. offensive in Iran, the president told our Trey Yingst Karg Island is still a possibility.
Are you ruling out a ground campaign in a limited capacity?
I don't want to say that either, but I would say no if I thought it was appropriate. I'd say sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us. But we already hit Karg Island. As far as taking it is concerned, if we degrade them far enough and deep enough back, I would do that.
We have video of an Iranian Shahed drone striking a target in Kuwait. There is some reporting that that target was a U.S.
So that's a report coming up. Now, we're going to be keeping our eyes on this. For a few days now, we haven't been talking about Iran because I personally felt like there were a few other things that needed our attention. But you guys, let me know what you think about what's going on with the Iran situation. A lot of people have mixed feelings. And they tend to go with a few calculations, private calculations about why the U.S. hasn't shut down this war just yet, because the United States has the capabilities of simply having a single day of strikes and the war is over, believe me. However, this is why the United States of America and other countries that adhere to Christian values are good for the world, okay? Because they actually consider the value of human lives. They don't just attack countries and allow for massive collateral damage, all right? Now, someone might say, how about the Second World War? That was very different. This is a preemptive strike on a hostile nation that has been attacking American interests for 47 years. And the United States knows that the citizens of Iran are essentially hostages in their own country. All right, they're being held hostage in their own country and being used as human shields by the IRGC. So they can't just go in there and glass the place. They need to consider that there are people there who are good. There are people there who are there, as hostages, essentially, because the Iranian government won't let them leave. You're not allowed to leave. You literally have to escape before you're able to leave. And even at that, the economy is so horrible that planning to move to a Western country is going to take a lifetime of savings to be able to put enough money together to make that happen. All right. Gardening says, I think there's so much going on behind the scenes and they know what they're doing. I think I am just going to trust that they have it figured out for us and for the people of Iran. I would say this, the fact that we haven't seen ground troop deployment, just like we saw in Desert Storm 1 and 2, is a good thing. It's a good thing, and the Trump administration has been exercising a lot of restraint to prevent that from happening. Now, just like President Trump said, other partners in the region will carry out the ground campaign. I think just yesterday, I saw a report that Saudi Arabia essentially had joined the conflict. They are partnering with the United States and other Gulf countries who have been attacked by Iran, are essentially rearing to go, like they want to go in. So President Trump essentially appears to be right that other countries would handle the ground campaign. So we'll see how that goes. But this is an interesting report that we do need to keep our eyes on. Now, let's take a brief look at the SAVE Act situation. Now, a few days ago, ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, Lindsey Graham's last phone call before he passed was reported to have gone to President Trump, and it was about the Save America Act. Now, according to reports, he said, we are all set, referring to him and a few people and a coalition that he had put together to move the SAVE Act forward. And then a few hours later, he was dead. All right, so a lot of people think that's suspicious, but moving on. And now there's been a vote that has been passed, but 4 Republicans are still blocking the bill that Lindsey Graham was in the process of moving forward before he died. Now, let me know. Now, we don't know who those senators are or those Congress people are, but who do you think they are? If you have any ideas, let me know in the chat. Maybe you have some assumptions. Let's see them. Now, here's the video that essentially shows the votes coming in. The U.S. House just advanced forcing the Save America Act into must-pass national security funding legislation on top of stopping the seasonal clock change from, that is the daylight savings. Okay, so they literally had to vote on daytime savings, which is interesting. So let's see what this video tells us. Okay, so I'm just going to read the still. Okay, here you have for Republicans, you had 214 yeas for the resolution to pass the Save America Act. You have 1 Republican voting no, and you have 3. I think this means that they declined to vote. So declining to vote is as good as voting in my books. So that's 4 Republicans who decided to decline. Now, you have on the Democrat side, you have 210 of them deciding that they would vote no. So, guys, you guys should know by now who it is that wants America to be protected from illegal aliens voting in your election by these numbers. Then they had 2 people who decided to decline. Okay. Then independents, one person who's an independent in Congress voted yes. So let's listen to. So this is essentially them calling out the votes and
On this
passing
vote,
it.
the yeas are 215, the nays are 211. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
So this is disturbing that we have rhinos in the Republican Party who will not vote in favor of the Save America Act. Now, this post says the senator from North Carolina, Thom Tillis, just got asked if he doesn't support the SAVE Act because he received a mind-boggling $700,000 from the illegal labor lobby. He got pissed he got pissed off and then ran away. Okay, so I guess this is one of the Republicans who voted the other way. All right, let's see.
Senator, you've received almost $700,000 from the illegal labor lobby. Is that why you voted against the Save America Act?
Can you tell me who the illegal labor lobby is?
Yes, it's contractors, general contractors, hospitality companies, industries, construction companies and industries.
What do you know about the which Save America Act are you talking about?
The one that you voted against, sir.
Okay. And so
how many Save America Acts are they? This guy is slimy, okay? This guy is slimy. There's one Save America Act we're all talking about. I'm outside of the United States. I know what the Save America Act is. He's a senator in the House and he's pretending like he doesn't know what the Save America Act is. Then he's now acting like, oh, what's the illegal lobby is. All of these are industries that prey on illegal aliens to do undocumented work. All right. They evade taxes. They pay them dirt poor wages because they aren't legal. These are the people who are benefiting from illegal labor, and he's getting money from them. So that's why he's voting against it, because of money. This is crazy to watch. Let's keep watching.
You're asking me if I voted, I was against it because
you're receiving almost $700,000 from these lobbyists.
Do you have any idea what a remarkably silly question that is?
I think it's a pretty important one. I think your constituents want to know why you're betraying them.
Some math. Do you know what my election cycle, the total all-in election cycle cost was in 2020?
So that justifies you taking money from people who take advantage of illegal aliens in order for you to keep that the Save America Act off the table. I don't understand this guy.
It's $300 million. Do you honestly believe that I would make a policy decision based on that?
I don't know why you're betraying your constituents.
Who do you work?
I'm independent.
Okay.
Why are you betraying your constituents?
On the clicks.
Why are you betraying your constituents, Senator?
Good luck on the clicks.
We just want secure elections, Senator. You're preventing us from getting that. You're betraying America.
Good luck on your job.
Good luck on yours. What a strange thing for Senator Tillis to say. $700,000 is not enough. He's a sellout, but not that amount, because he receives $300 million. If I were an honest person and I were answering that question, I would just say, I'm not a sellout to anyone. I don't sell out for any amount of money. But Thom Tillis says he sells out, but not for that amount.
Gardening in the chat says, hold on, you have a lot to say. He's an idiot, and I don't call people that a lot. He's just sticking it to the Republicans because he can't get reelected this time. Do you believe I would honestly take that petty amount? I would get more. Oh my goodness. Guys, it's crazy, but you know what? I love the United States that you guys can do this. All right. I love that you can get in the faces of these politicians, get them to essentially incriminate themselves at the very least. Give the voters a chance to see these people for who they really are. And then people can decide to vote. My problem most of the time is not the politicians. My problem is the voters who continue to put them in. Gardening says, I get so fired up with that man. Look, the answer to all of this is just lobby and vote. Okay, lobby and vote. If you guys want your senators to know you're watching them, call them. All right, you guys need to call their offices and essentially tell them you're watching them and why are they doing this. Like, you just need to get enough phone calls in. You guys need to write enough letters in. Let them know that you see them. I think it's really as simple as that. Now, that's the civil way to handle disagreements in a civilized culture. And that is what the United States is and what Western civilization is meant to represent. However, in the next story, it's crazy that the left has a different way of doing things. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Coney Barrett is a Supreme Court justice, and she walked into her bedroom one day carrying a bulletproof vest. Her 12-year-old son was standing in the doorway and wanted to know, what's that? Like when your 12-year-old son sees a Kevlar vest and then is asking, excuse me, what exactly is that? And his mom is about to put on a Kevlar. That should alarm anyone. Her teenage son opened the front door to a street full of police cars responding to a fake shooting call. All right, so that's called swatting. When people tell the police that there's a hostage situation or there's someone with a gun shooting up a place, and then SWAT shows up. And usually they expect that the person who lives there shows up and attempts to resist because they see people with guns coming through the door, and in a bid to defend themselves, they get shot by the police. So that's what swatting is, and that has been going on for years. Conservative creators get swatted regularly because they are hoping that the police kills these people for them, assuming that when the police knocks down the door and rushes in, the influencers or the content creators confront them with a weapon, and then the police is forced to fire on them because there was a call that somebody essentially has a gun and is holding the occupants hostage or is shooting up the place. So that's what the left does. All right. Now, here's the video by Amy Coney Barrett. She was essentially talking about this. Sorry about this, guys. We'll just wait for the ad to play and sorry. And I can't skip it.
And those statistics sound abstract, but being on the receiving end of them is not. So I thought I would just share a little bit about how the threats have affected me and my family personally. They have required me to, my children, to think about and see things that children should not have to see or think about. One example is when threats to my life were particularly intense a few years ago around the time of the Dobbs leak. My security detail sent me home with a bulletproof vest, and I carried it into my house, put it into my bedroom, dropped it down on a table, turned around, and my 12-year-old son was standing in the doorway of my bedroom, and he wanted to know what it was and why I had it. And I didn't know how to respond because maybe I lack imagination, but I didn't expect that performing this service was going to put me in the position of explaining to my children what a bulletproof vest was and why I had to wear one. It's also been reported in the news that roughly 6 weeks ago, I was the victim of a swatting incident. At that point, my teenage son, one of my teenage sons, opened the door to go out with friends and saw in our street, it was full of police cars who had responded to a false report of gunshots and raised voices in my home. I was very, very grateful that I had Supreme Court police outside my home because they were able to stop and meet with and explain to the county police that it had been a false alarm, and so the police did not actually attempt to enter our home. Many of us, me included, have received threatening anonymous deliveries designed to intimidate and harass us. They are often sent in the name of Judge Salas's son, who I think, as you mentioned in the beginning, Mr. Chairman, is deceased because he was killed by a disgruntled lawyer who showed up at Judge Salas's home intending to kill her, but her son, 20 years old at the time, opened the door and took the bullet instead. Her husband, standing behind, was seriously injured. So I think the message on these deliveries being sent in his name is clear. As Justice Kagan said, federal judges across the country, throughout the judiciary, including the Supreme Court, continue to do their jobs without fear or favor, but the threat level is really high.
And it's coming from one side. It's coming from one side. The left wants us to believe that there's violence, there's political violence coming from the right. Okay, fine. You get to say that, but you don't get to say that without showing receipts. And whenever they bring the receipts, they always come up with, oh, how about those state Congress people who were shot and killed the other time? Well, they were shot and killed by somebody from their side. They want to believe that, or they want us to believe that that was a Republican or a MAGA person who did that. That was someone that Governor Walz had hired on his team. That was a leftist. They come up with all of these random things and they're hoping that you're too stupid to notice. But I don't think you're stupid. All the violence is coming from one side because the people on the receiving end are from the other side. When Charlie Kirk got murdered and that buffoon, I'm going to ask the Lord to forgive me, but that buffoon on TDSBC who claimed that it was a MAGA supporter who murdered Charlie because they were either firing off a gun in celebration. Like these people, these fools are trying to sell this caricature that conservatives are these trigger happy cowboys like Yosemite Sam, okay? Yeehaw! Just firing guns simply because they're excited. That's what they sell to their crowd. They sell that insanity to their crowd and their crowd eats it up. They believe that that's what conservatives look like until they actually meet conservatives and have conversations with conservatives and realize that that's not the way we are. And so you have all of the violence coming from one side. We will continue to ask, show us the violence that's happening on your side where it is crystal clear, okay, not staged, not astroturfed, not lies that you tell in order to sell the idea that there's violence coming from both sides. Look, guys, we're done with that. We're over it. You need to tell us the truth. Where is the violence coming from? And it's always coming from one side. So you have a Supreme Court justice who is being swatted, who is being threatened, and Supreme Court justices on the right, all right, the ones appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents are being threatened regularly. So, guys, I mean, just let me know what you think about this, because my question is this the reason why she's been voting the way she has on certain things? Could this be a reason? I'm just asking. I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking because people have been shocked about her vote on the the thing with the anchor babies. I'm drawing a blank. I talk about this regularly, and today I suddenly draw a blank. But that vote, like how is it that she could vote the other way? I don't know. But people think that this is part of the reason why she's been pushing, her votes in the wrong direction over at least that particular situation. All right. So next story, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the left continues to show that they are unhinged and most of them tend to be insane. This is a middle school teacher in Massachusetts. She works with your children, all right? She works with your children. And she just posted that she's celebrating Lindsey Graham's death. And she's hoping Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are next. Now, the school has been contacted, but they haven't responded to any of the questions. Now, in the chat, let me know if you think this person should still have a job teaching children. If she can openly brag and celebrate the death of someone, you know, like I have a platform, and even when I talk about things like the war in Iran and so on, have you guys ever caught me celebrating the assassinations or the deaths of these people? I don't. I have channels that I watch who are on the right, and they celebrate. They have these, things where they mock people who are murdered because, hey, they've done bad things. And do I think that bad people who do bad things should meet justice? I think so. However, in my opinion, rejoicing over the death of the wicked, the Bible tells me that I should not rejoice over the death of the wicked. That's the Bible. I am a practicing Christian. And as much as we talk about how people are evil and the bad things they do, we never wish them death. I talk about Hakeem Jeffries regularly. Yesterday, I think I talked about him. But have you ever heard me wishing that he dies? Like I said, all or most, let me just say most of the violent rhetoric and the violence is coming from one side. And if you have two eyes and a brain, you know where that side is. Amy Frieda, I don't know if that's the way it's pronounced, Frieda, a teacher at Cohasset Middle School in Massachusetts, allegedly posted this picture online appearing to celebrate the death of Lindsey Graham. I'm going to click on this. Allegedly posted this picture online. Allegedly. This is her handle, for crying out loud. Appearing to celebrate the death of Lindsey Graham and hoping for the deaths of Mitch McConnell and President Trump. We reached out to the school multiple times for comments, but they did not respond. All right. Now, this is the problem that we're facing in our politics of today. Now, politics has always been polarizing. It's always been polarizing. People, okay, so she posts this picture with three bottles of wine, one with Lindsey Graham's name on a sticky note. The other is Mitch McConnell, and the other with President Trump. All right. I would say one word. I'll say this is demonic. All right, this is demonic. When a party celebrates the death or the murder of people, it is demonic. Gardening says, these people live in such a crazy algorithm that they find it easy to make these videos. Kind of glad, though, because it allows us to see who is teaching our children so they can be removed. Look, I don't have a problem with them posting whatever they like. It reveals to us who they really are. It just tells us, hey, this is who this person is. And you're like, well, thank you for letting me know. And then we make our decision on where we send our kids. All right. And these people look normal. All right. They walk up to you. They have this smile on their faces, but it's always in the eyes, guys. It's always in the eyes. The smile doesn't get to the eyes. The eyes are just dead, So I don't know. This post here says these psychos are obsessed with murder and should be nowhere near our children. This other commenter says, does Cohasset Middle School school's commitment to inclusion and excellence include wishing death on America's leaders? If so, parents might want to reconsider having their kids included. That's the thing, again, that I find, we've seen this. The people who claim that they are inclusive, they are kind, they are the ones who want the best for everyone. They want unicorns to fart in our faces every day and give us joy. You know, they are the ones who say this crazy nonsense. And then they want to teach our kids to be the same way. And then they say that we are the hateful ones, right? We are the ones who don't dox and swat the justices of the Supreme Court who happen to be on the left. We don't dox or swat the federal judges who have been blocking President Trump for almost 2 years now from carrying out his mandate. We haven't doxed or swatted them. I haven't seen one report. All right. And I guarantee you, once you start seeing this call for, okay, where is the doxing and swatting on the right, or on the left, you know, for the justices and so on, you start seeing these made up statistics. You start seeing people on CNN coming up with these made up statistics. Well, the FBI says that there's a lot of violence coming from the right. And when you look at it, you find out that it's statistics from the SPLC that claims that Charlie Kirk was an extremist and was dangerous and should be watched, that lists the Catholic Church and any conservative group that doesn't toe the liberal and globalist line. That's the statistics that they're quoting, and they want us to take them seriously. So that's happening in Massachusetts. So guys, let me know in the comment section or in the chat your thoughts on this story, because it's happening everywhere. We just happen to, now this is coming from Libs of TikTok. Okay, she's a dedicated content creator who essentially finds these crazies. All right, she finds these crazies and lets us know that they're out there. And if you subscribe to her channel, just head on over to her channel on X, and you see a slew, like, it never ends. And the thing with her account is that these people self-report. All right, they self-report. They post the insanity that they believe and that they want out there on social media. So what she does is she goes on TikTok. This is on TikTok. She just goes on TikTok. Oh, is that what this person is saying? Okay, we'll let the world know that that's what she believes. Then she also goes on Blue Sky as well. Most of the people who were doing this insanity on X decided that to stick it to Elon, that they would go to Blue Sky. So all of the crazies, when you go to Blue Sky, okay, it's like swimming through a swamp of sludge and leeches. Okay, it's a crazy place. Every single turn you take, you run into a crazy. Okay, that's where they went. And she goes in there and finds them. They self-report. Okay, when the left has to accuse us of these things, they have to make it up. They have to make it up, like the J6 protest that they call an insurrection. We're still going to be looking at our footage for the day, the body cam footage from the J6 insurrection. Okay, so we're going to find the insurrection in a bit. We just want to go through all these stories first. All right, so this is essentially crazy, and she catches them self-reporting and then lets us know who they are. So it's not like she's trying to get this lady fired. The lady decided to self-report on social media. All right. And then, she gets exposed. So that's what happens. So head on over to Libs of TikTok, give her a sub or a follow on X, and, you'll get to see most of these things. And then let's move on to the next story. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, the crazy, insane left is at it again. And this time is the experts. Two of the most powerful medical educators in the country were in front of Congress recently. I think this was yesterday. Representative Mary Miller asked them one question. Can a non-biological woman have a baby? Can someone just guess what their answer was? Watch what happens, okay? Now, chat, is this the people training America's doctors? All right. Let me know your response to this line of questioning in the chat. Okay. We're going to, so this first Senator Mary Miller is next here. I'm going to just play Mary Miller's question in here. I'll just zoom zoom in and play.
Also troubling, Dr. Benedetti, it appears that DEI has not left UICM. On your school's About page, clear as day, it says, and I quote, "At the University of Illinois College of Medicine, we are committed to diversity and inclusion. We have a number of programs and initiatives in place to promote diversity and inclusion." It's clear that UICM is just hiding the fact that DEI is still its core mission. Dr. Haygood, UCSF's classroom guide titled Framework for Gender and Sex Concepts in Teaching advises against using the term pregnant women. Instead, it says to use pregnant people. Who are pregnant people compared to pregnant women? Just curious.
So that is a part of a curriculum to help our students who are facing a wide diversity of patients. Of course, the vast majority of pregnancies are in women, and I have absolutely no problem with using the word pregnant women. I use it myself.
Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
A transgender person can.
That's not a biological woman. Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
I would reiterate, we take care of transgender patients.
Dr. Haygood, the UCSF guide I mentioned earlier also advises using a child's self-reported gender identity even if it conflicts with the parent's wishes. Say a 7-year-old boy comes into your doctor's office and reveals he believes he's a girl. Is UCSF advising physicians to explicitly violate parents' moral values and have the doctors address this boy as a girl?
Our programs are consistent with federal and state law. We undertake comprehensive psychological and mental health evaluations and work with the parents on these issues.
He's not answering the question. He's deflecting and weaving. Okay, he's deflecting and weaving, hoping that the person who's asking the question is either pressed for time, because what they essentially do is they try to run down the clock. Each congressperson who asks a question has a time limit. So when they answer like this, they're doing two things. They're weaving and deflecting, and they're running down the clock. And just notice his eyes when he's trying to not answer the question but give an answer. All right? It's just weird to watch.
Okay, and I hope that you are consistent with the law because, like I say, we have the right to withhold funding from any institution in violation. Lastly, Dr. Dubonnet, a required course at UCLA Medical School, advises OBGYN students not to, and I quote, assume gender identity. Okay, from another class in May of 2026, it included a disclaimer that while it uses the term she and women, it does not intend to exclude, and I quote, those who have a uterus but do not identify with these terms. What does that even mean?
I'm not familiar with that announcement. I'd have to read the entire thing.
Okay, I hope that you go back and check it out. Can someone have a uterus but not be a woman? Because it seems like your school is promoting that ridiculous idea.
I think, again, as Dr. Haygood has described, we're treating transgender people, but we're doing that in compliance with state and federal law.
And you do teach biology?
Yes, we do.
Yes, this is curious. So I'm going to ask you again, can someone have a uterus and not be a woman? Just say yes or no. Can they?
Blink twice if you're under duress. Most of these people are terrified of, one, the students at their schools, the far left, unhinged students at their school. Because if this doesn't go the way those people like, there's going to be protests right outside their doors. There's going to be threats. They know these people are violent. They do. These people are terrified of the people at their schools. The professors, those Marxist professors who have brainwashed the kids, will turn their students against him as soon as he gives a response that doesn't comply with what they want. Most of these guys, look, I don't think they're stupid, All right. I don't think they're stupid. So sometimes saying that they're stupid is just taking the easy way out. All right. It's just taking the easy way out. Let's finish this and then I'll give you my thoughts and then read the chat.
Again, I would need
That's what your medical school is promoting.
The gentlelady's
Mr. Chairman, it's clear these medical schools are hiding DEI curriculum under the guise of medical access.
Gentlelady's time.
All right, so her time is up. So this report is crazy. And when you watch things like this, I want to ask you the question, how do you feel when you watch things like this? Garding says, I will be so happy when our world goes back to only having women give birth. But Garding, it never left. It never stopped happening. You just had these insane people who decided that everyone has to comply with our delusions and insist on saying, okay, people who aren't biological women, and I don't want to use that, people who aren't women and who want to cosplay as women can give birth. And if you don't agree with us, we're going to take away your ability to make money. We're going to take away your job. We're going to make sure you're fired and you never work in this town again. We're going to smear you and make sure everybody believes that you're a bigot and racist and that you actually have a problem and you're hateful. They're going to say all these things. If you have funding for anything, we're going to make sure that your funding is taken away. They attack your livelihood. They hold you hostage so that you can adopt these crazy ideologies. That is the world that we live in right now. Non-biological women who never had the ability to give birth, and they never will. No matter how much biological science tries to shoehorn these things because of medical advancements, they are locked out. They are locked out. Look, life is very spiritual. And once you begin to go against the laws of the spirit or of the spiritual, you're locked out of the solution to a lot of problems. So when you look at these people who claim that they can literally carve out appendages, I'm going to keep this PG 7. They can create appendages for women who want to be men by taking a piece of skin from a particular part of the body and to construct the appendage. It's just a dead flap that they create. All right, it's a dead flap. It doesn't work. How about the men who get castrated and then there's a slit in between their legs that they have to manually and pharmacologically keep open, else it seals up because it's just a wound. I'm like, so the world never moved on to non-biological women giving birth. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. These people are locked out. They will never be able to do it. Gardening says, ever since men could have babies, things have been 666. Look, it's demonic, guys. Anyone who hears me say these things and they're like, oh, you're going too far, demonic. Oh, are you a kook? If you want to call me a kook, if you want to, say that I'm something that makes you feel comfortable, go ahead and call me names. Doesn't change the fact that I'm right. The kitty typed that. All right. Okay, her cat typed the 666 part. Well, maybe the cat is onto something. Because essentially, if you don't agree with this insane ideology and position, you're locked out of the economy. That's what 666 is all about. When you refuse the mark and the sign, you're locked out of commerce. You're not allowed to buy or sell. It's the same thing with what's going on with this ideology. If you don't toe the line, they fire you, they cancel you, you're not allowed to work, you're not allowed to make any money. If you're a content creator, your means of livelihood is either suppressed or taken away. Oh, that is what I was saying. I promised the kitty type that. Well, the kitty is a smart one. All right. Okay, so guys, so let's know what you think about all these stories that we've covered so far. We've covered 6 stories. Now we're going to move on to find the insurrection. So guys, the Department of Justice released 1,627 body cam videos that were recorded during the J6 protest. The left calls it an insurrection. And so far, we've been going through clips, and we're yet to find the insurrection. We're going to go through this video, and what we do is we cut through the clips, and we try to find encounters of the DC police, the Capitol Police, and protesters. And then we try to see where this insurrection, this unicorn is, right? They claim that that it was an insurrection. It was a coordinated assault on the Capitol building, that Trump told them during the rally that they should fight, go and fight like hell and take back their democracy and their country. And then the people with frothing mouths ran and went to the Capitol to essentially murder all the Congress people in the Capitol, because they, in their heads, when they think protest, they see the people that they support, Antifa. They see those kinds of protests. Okay, they see those protests, and whenever they think protest, that's what they see. Okay, so when they heard, hey, people are protesting and are outside the Capitol, they freaked out because they thought that we were like them. Sadly, there were people in the crowd who essentially made that picture look like it was valid. So let's watch this, okay? I picked out this video. It's one of the next videos after the one we watched yesterday. And let's see if we can find an insurrection. So usually the video starts with no audio. We're going to skip forward and find where there's... All right, here we go. We're going to skip forward. There's a lot of, they're stuck in the doorway. You can hear the crowd outside. We're going to skip forward a little. So this is the Capitol Police, okay? They're trying to make their way outside. That's bear spray. Interesting.
Ready to move up?
Let's keep going. Okay, so they're close to the door. All right, there's someone in the door. He doesn't seem to be attacking anyone, is he? This is insane. is up with Capitol Police essentially getting the brunt of the tear gas that they deployed? Like, they deploy tear gas and they're the ones who are vomiting and choking and have snot running out of their noses. But you look at the protesters and it's like they're totally fine. I don't know, I just noticed that that's what's been going on. All right, so the so-called insurrection left the building intact. Nothing was broken. They didn't break that display that we just walked past. All right. This is like playing a video game. Like, all of them without fail are choking. Their eyes are watery. Another door. Okay, that's assault. Okay, that's assault. That guy should be arrested, but this is not an insurrection. Okay, guys, if you want to call that an insurrection, okay, you use the flag, to show your displeasure at the police who's been spraying you with tear gas and bear spray. Then the left has been conducting an insurrection nonstop since January of last year. All right, they've been insurrecting up and down the entire country, from the ICE protests coast to coast to all of the made-up protests that they've been engaging in. So, I'm not going to hear it. Okay, so that wasn't an insurrection. I'm yet to find one. Let's keep going. Okay, oops, I have to skip. Okay, I saw something, I have to skip forward. Or is that going to be bad? No, I have to skip forward. It looks like there's one of the officers who has some blood on his face. I don't want that showing up on the channel.
Oh, what's the...
oh no!
Right there. What happened to you?
Anyway, that wasn't long enough.
What happened to you?
Okay, so let's hear what happened to him. Trying to hear him tell us what happened to him. Okay, is that a police officer? That's not a police officer because he's wearing a backpack. He's wearing a backpack. That's not a police officer. I'm just gonna skip back. Yeah, so he's not a police officer. All right. So, again, we haven't seen any remarkable violence against the police. All right. No one threatening their families. No one claiming that, hey, I see your face, I know where you live, like we saw, some weeks back with that protester or rioter or activist at the ICE facility down in, was it Maine? I think it was Maine. All right, so that's a civilian. There's nothing. So that's a civilian, not a police officer.
Can you get some more? Call and get some more people down here. Okay, yeah, we need some more people, man.
Oh, he pointed. So they're firing tear gas. They're essentially tear gassing themselves. They're tear gassing themselves. Jeez. Let's see how much. Okay, so that's the end of the video. All right, guys. Did you find any insurrection, guys? Did you? Oops. This is saying up next. I don't want to play another one. I don't. So just like we've been saying since we started this journey on Find the Insurrection. Okay, that's not the name of the show. We decided to name this segment that because we had this massive dump of 1,627 body cam videos, over 1,000 hours of clips. And the only thing we've seen again and again is that everything that we've been told so far by the left, by the J6 committee, by mainstream media, by leftist influencers, by everyone who wants to get excited about January 6th. There was no insurrection. Why was this sealed? Why didn't they let us see this for 5 years? Why? It was because this would completely debunk their claims. And now that it's been released, no one is talking about it. They're pretending like it doesn't exist. Gardening says there's chaos, yes. Insurrection, no. So we're going to keep watching it. I've been running across some other regular body cam videos that are kind of funny. All right. Let me see. I wanted to keep this to an hour. Okay. So maybe I'll consider playing. I've been seeing some very interesting looking body cam videos. Maybe I'll save it for the members only live stream. Since we shifted our schedule, we're going to have to find one of the evenings when we'll do the members only. I'll figure something out and let you guys know. I'll send out an update or announce it during one of the live streams. So we'll be back again tomorrow, same time. We go live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. We cover the stories that come into my feed and talk about the highlights and also look at body cam videos because most of us enjoy watching these because it gives us insight into some of these activities that the police engages in, how law enforcement operates. And when someone wakes up and tries to convince us that the police are inherently racist, I don't believe it because now we're seeing from the body cams that that's not true. But it doesn't stop the radical Marxist left from claiming that the police are racist. Just like the thing that happened in, was it in Mississippi? Yeah, in Mississippi last week. You had 4 friends, 3 white boys and a black boy go out to celebrate graduation. And then 3 of the white boys go home. The black boy is missing until his body turns up dead, and everyone wants to believe that there was foul play. All right, they are claiming that there's no foul play while saying that there might be foul play. Okay, wink, wink. And they're claiming, no, the police isn't handling it because of racism. How do you know that? Well, we're going to see how that report pans out, and I guarantee you, when that report comes back negative that there was no foul play, no one is going to talk about it. No one is going to say a word. But we like watching the body cam videos to essentially help us see behind the scenes and experience what's going on. And this is quite, now in a way, this is a blessing. We get to walk the corridors of the Capitol. All right. If you haven't been to the Capitol, sadly, this isn't a virtual tour, but you get to walk the corridors of the Capitol. You get to see, from the perspective of the police, but you also get to see what the protesters were doing. The protesters did release videos that showed that the police fired on them first, tear gas. We had that video of Ashley Babbitt being shot when she climbed through that space where the window had been broken. She was shot. We saw that video. Those were privately produced. Now we're seeing the body cam footage. All right. So it's quite the blessing to be able to do that because in the past, you and I would be left with our assumptions, but now we get to see for ourselves and confirm whether we were right or wrong. And so far, we're right. Okay. So we're going to keep doing this. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you're watching this after the fact or in the chat. So thank you all so much for joining us this morning. I try to keep it at an hour, but sometimes the stories just generate a lot of conversation that we need to get out there. Thanks a lot. We're going to be going off the air, and we'll be back tomorrow. So thank you all for being a part of this live stream. God bless you.